I really like that first track, that disc 2 track 2.
Yeah. So moving on, I want to talk about Triple H. Triple H is the cover of the WWE 2K26 King of Kings edition, I believe, and he's also featured on two other versions of the cover, the Monday Night War one as well as the Attitude Era one, and this led to people just like basically flipping out, and then it was like okay, I'll say this. I think there is something to be said for being on three different versions and them doing
Hmm.
the Triple H version. It's like, okay, should he not be the booker, right? Say Triple H was like either like removed from the company or Lord forbid he died or something, right?
Hmm.
And they were like, we're gonna do a Triple H cover on the video game or whatever. It's a whatever. He's big enough to get one of those, right?
Yeah,
I don't think
absolutely.
that's not the issue here. I think the thing is this nigga is Suge Knight, dog. Or excuse me, he's not Suge Knight. He's Diddy. He's all in the videos. Like he's just on everything, dancing on the record, like every big show
I,
first pop entrance, on all the posters, on the video game. Now, it just comes at the end of this, and the worm is turned on how people feel about his booking.
mhm.
So you're getting a lot of people being like, you know what, I'm tired of this nigga, man. Just go away, please. What
Hmm.
the fuck?
Hmm.
And then,
You forgot Unreal too.
oh yeah, that thing too, yeah. Like all these, all this self fellatio from this guy. So it's like, I feel like, and then this like kind of grew into, well, remember them WWE documentaries used to be acting like this nigga was like the nigga, like he was the man in the Attitude Era, and it was like
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels was his homeboy and shit, and it was like, huh? Like, and I think a lot of people have corrected that. I figured that we could add to that correction as well with Triple H because look, Triple H arrives in WWE in 1995 as Jean Pierre Levesque or whatever, like, or he's Hunter Hearst Helmsley off the rip, but he was
Yeah,
Jean
you're
Pierre
thinking of
Levesque,
his WCW shit
WCW. So
when
he was
Flair
there,
gave him the bullshit French aristocrat gimmick. Yeah.
right? So he comes in, kind of a slim build guy, tall, athletic guy, whatever.
Hmm.
Wears a ponytail, wears looking like he's wearing rider pants and shit. That shit ain't hitting on nothing. Let's just say that. It's just he's a nigga that's there. This guy becomes friends with the clique, carries the bags. This guy drives all these people around, takes care of these people.
Because he's the only sober one.
Correct. Takes care of these people that are on all these various versions of pills, liquor, and
Yep.
other type of debauchery that's
Hmm.
going on here. He's driving these people town to town and all that. 1996. He gets squished by the Ultimate Warrior after Ultimate Warrior no sells him at WrestleMania. And Lord, that is probably the beginning of his origin story where he will never go out like that again. Curtain call comes after that. After all these guys leave, and the only person left to punish is Triple H. And
Well,
you know,
they could have punished Sean,
they
but
could have, but
he's one of their top guys. So
right,
you know.
and there are other conspiracy theories as well, but I'm not going to delve into those.
Oh
Um,
Lord,
so at
ask
that
Bret Hart.
point, yeah. So at that point, allegedly Triple H is punished, but it's almost like, hold on, he was supposed to win King of the Ring. He does not win King of the Ring. However, he ends up with the Intercontinental Championship at the end of the summer, so it was a very short-lived punishment. But through that time, he's missing pay-per-views. He's eating shit on the house show circuit apparently. So
Yeah,
not really
those all
much of a
important house.
punishment.
I would say those all important house show circuits. Then you remember, oh yeah, like they flipped the title like twice in that era, like right before on the fucking house shows.
Right.
Like, yeah.
So in '96, a lot of other things are taking form. Stone Cold Steve Austin starting to grow legs in the company.
Hmm.
When he wins that King of the Ring instead of Triple H. Shawn Michaels is the world champion. The Rock arrives at Survivor Series 1996 as Rocky Maivia. and Hunter's actually in the ring with him. Hunter from there moves forward, trying to just move up the card any way he can at that point, and he's having intercontinental title feuds for like almost through the next up until February. He actually drops an IC belt to The Rock as Rocky Maivia. Rocky Maivia, everybody they kind of pop for the title change, but that's about it. Maivia is not really over. They actually have a
You'll
rematch.
see that in the future if we go through this deep dive completely.
Yeah, they have a rematch in I believe the Final Four pay per view in February '97. Hunter wins it back, I believe, and then Hunter and Goldust get to it at the next WrestleMania. Actually, no, Hunter does not win it back. Rock keeps
Hey,
it.
put Devlin's comment up on the screen, please.
Hunter and Rocky stinking up the mid card. Yeah, look, they don't get good until '98.
Yeah, we don't talk about pre '98 Rock like that. We don't.
So Hunter at this point goes through the summer, and then he's fighting Goldust at WrestleMania. He wins his King of the Ring this time. He finally gets it. They give him the crown. He doesn't want to wear it and all this stuff and the King gimmick, but it's still clear they want Triple H to be something, but he's not really anything. Also, they introduced China around this time during the Goldust feud, which actually gets him kind of moving a little bit because China is such a awesome, looking athlete, and is just different than anything that's ever done. So
It was ingenious. It was like I'm gonna have my heater be a woman.
right.
It was brilliant at the time. He's like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. So
And now we've seen it in the recent in the modern era be modernized with Rhea Ripley and now with Marina. It works like a charm. It works like a charm.
and then Triple H from there, falls into the fall season, aligning with Shawn Michaels, and somehow they're on the same side, and then Kane and Undertaker are on the other, or Undertaker and Mankind are on the other side, or something like that. I forgot how it all links up.
It's okay. It was 30 years ago.
Yeah, it's like I think I'm giving plenty of details to get a little slack.
Now I should give Rich more shit because there's no telling whether or not Rich has watched this over the last year or not, like on his own, because he probably has. Because Rich be watching Superstars and shit at random or whatever else. So I don't even know.
So I hadn't watched
90 Superstars, by the way.
Yeah.
Not like 90 Superstars.
Yeah. So he aligns with Sean, and they create D-Generation X. Sean is the world champion, goes through the Montreal screw job, and DX is like fucking up everything as far as like the comedy, and Shawn Michaels is running a fucking muck essentially. And then they got China. It's a cool, stable.
And Rick Rude doing not a goddamn thing except for holding the briefcase, holding the Halliburton.
Yes. Rude leaves the company. Triple H, I believe, fucks up his knee at a certain point. Shawn fucks up his back against the Undertaker in '98. By this time,
98 Royal Rumble. So right before, months before, he's about to drop the belt off to Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yes, and at this time, Hunter is
because I know people may or may not have gone through our multiple times. We've talked about the Montreal screw job, so you got to make sure. When Shawn hurts his back, everyone thinks he's faking, given that he's giving out a bunch of reasons for people that think he's faked injuries in the past, and he's doing this so he doesn't have to lose the belt to Steve Austin. And people were like, nah, we don't believe you. And Fat Undertaker actually said, like, he taped his fist up and sat by Gorilla waiting to see if some bullshit was gonna pop up on Shawn. He's gonna whoop his ass. And then ultimately, he retired for like multiple years after that.
And it is very important to note, Triple H is the distant second person, the lackey, the little homie, the young wrestler behind Shawn Michaels. And it's not like no Wardlow MJF situation. It's not like that at all. This is my young homeboy I decided to start hanging out with or whatever because I have no other friends on screen. That's what this was. Now, Hunter ends up working with Owen Hart because Shawn Michaels thinks Owen Hart is going to shoot on him. So it falls to Hunter, essentially. And now Hunter's working with Owen Hart, but, the heat's not really there. They're fighting over the European belt and everything like that. Then Triple H actually gets a little bit of juice finally the day after WrestleMania when
Yep.
Shawn Michaels retires. Triple H comes out there and was like, you turn to your blood, you turn to the Click. And what happens? X-Pac comes back from WCW wearing a DX shirt, and then they reform DX with him, and then the New Age Outlaws who had been teaming together are looped in the group, and they have this babyface mid card group with China, X Pac, Hunter, Triple H, and the Road Dogg. Now,
I'm laughing because you brought up the X-Pac thing. You know what I'm thinking of? That terrible promo he cut. Oh,
Hulk Hogan, you suck, pal.
he said Hulk Hogan said I couldn't cut the mustard. Well, guess what, Hogan? You suck, pal. Why did it hit you, Mike? You lucky you were good. You lucky you was a good ass wrestler, boy. You lucky you was good in that ring.
So Hunter at this time, they start a beef with the nation. So it's time for Triple H and The Rock round two. But this time, Triple H is the babyface. The Rock is the heel, but The Rock at this time is rapidly ascending and he improves so much during 1998. It's
Yep,
ridiculous how fast he gets better.
Him and Triple H both, honestly.
Yeah, because like Triple H was before like 98, I was never trying to watch no Triple H matches.
Right.
Like, and even then, it would be like, okay, Triple H and The Rock, Triple H and D'Lo used to, have some good ones.
Yep.
Whenever X-Pac was in there with him, like, that was my favorite member in DX was X-Pac. But it was like, yeah,
Same.
he's rising up or whatever, but like The Rock is like clearly like that nigga, and then Rock basically drops the belt. He loses at SummerSlam, but he really wins because he's the one getting elevation. And
Right.
Triple H is here with this Intercontinental title, and what do you know it? He's injured again.
Also, if you go back and watch that 98 SummerSlam ladder match, it is fucking hilarious. Rock takes not a damn high spot bump off that ladder. Triple H is dying. He's taking all the big bumps in this match. It's fucking hilarious.
So let's just also set the stage for the rest of the environment. This is purely in the mid card right here. The DX Nation thing, the DX invasion happens during this point, but these guys are like, they're not Austin. Like, this is not Vince McMahon. This is not Mick Foley, Kane, Undertaker. Like, this is far underneath that. Like,
they get to that. They don't. Or sorry, Triple H doesn't get to that level until 99.
Right. And
the middle of 99.
Mind you, Kane wins the belt in 98, even though he gives it back or whatever. He was so hot they couldn't.
This is when they started the hot potato era of title reigns. Like, you could used to be able to track who was the champion through all their various champions, and then like all of a sudden it's like boom, 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 boom. 98 is like they're hot potatoing. It's crazy.
Yeah. From there, Triple H gets hurt again, and then it's like he has a choice to make by that time because at this time he sees The Rock ascending. The Rock is the champion now, and then the company looks like is pointing at Rock and Austin, and you're damn Skippy, it was pointing at Rock and Austin. So how is he going to catch up? And at this time, he comes back from that knee injury. He's with DX still. DX is popular. No, everybody loves DX, but Triple H sees the game passing him by, no pun intended. And by the time WrestleMania 15 comes, he's in there with Kane.
Yep.
And now it's like, well, what's going on here? So at this point,
can I intervene?
Sure.
You know what I'm about to say, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So, two things.
Well, get there. Look,
I'll get to that after. But the first thing, in the build up to Kane versus Triple H WrestleMania 15, Kane had a match. I think it was the Go Home show. Yes, Rich, I'm saying it was fucking hilarious. Kane has a Go Home show match with Goldust. Out comes Goldust. He has the wig, he has the face paint, he has the robe. All of a sudden, he gets in the ring, and I'm looking. I'm like, that ain't Goldust. Goldust's face, why does Goldust's face nose look longer than it normally is? Whatever else. Next thing I know, they in the ring about to start the match. All of a sudden, Goldust opens up his robe and pulls out a bazooka. He pulls out the big fire, and then he sprays with a wall of fire. He caned Kane. You know, Kane got firepower, right? He caned Kane.
Yes.
And Kane is rival is falling around and rolling around in pain and anguish. And Rick, and I'm gonna say Rick Ross. Jim Ross is losing his mind, and and all of a sudden, off comes the robe, off comes the wig. It's Triple H dressed as Gold Dust, and that was a go home angle for their match for WrestleMania 15. Is he just shot a nigga with a wall of fire? Let's see if they have the match in 6 days. That's
Yeah.
that's the build.
So, but it turned out to be a ruse. So he turns on at WrestleMania on X-Pac, and then China, who had defected by this time, it looked like she turned with DX, but that was not to be the case. It was like a double turn because Kane was in the corporation. Triple H is now aligned with the corporation.
Mm-hmm.
Temporarily with The Rock, which was hilarious for about a month. Triple H and The Rock in the same faction. And mind you, the corporation has always been above Triple H at this point. Like Triple H
Yep.
has never, and he goes to the corporation and it's like he's biding his time kind of.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, Triple H, remember I mentioned Triple H being like this slim kind of guy. He gets bigger throughout 97, 98 a little bit, but not in like some massive way. Now, he cuts his hair, he starts wearing trunks, and then
Mm-hmm.
he gains 35 pounds of muscle magically.
And when we say 35 pounds of muscle, we mean from if you just watch that Kane match at WrestleMania 15, and then you go to SummerSlam, you're like, how's the same person?
And that is very
And given how
important.
tall he is, it's like this legitimately he's put on 30 pounds of pure muscle mass. It makes no sense outside of what you're thinking right now when you're listening to this.
Yeah, and it is very important to note between that WrestleMania and the SummerSlam, they're doing a lot to try to elevate this guy. They're having him in there with The Rock a lot. He's fighting a bunch of three-way matches with like the Undertaker, and he's changing his presentation. I believe it's the first time he gets like the all about the game music, but it's the old version, hard as shit.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Look, similar to Naito, that nigga don't miss on entrance music
At all.
Never. It's always been hard. So for those that are thinking like recent body transformations, right? Like Kyle Fletcher over the last 2 years, right? Swerve over the last 2 years, right? Swerve, while adding on muscle mass, has not gotten more cut. Kyle Fletcher has managed to add on muscle mass and get more cut, right? Which makes you raise the eyebrow, right? The Kyle Fletcher body transformation is
Pales in comparison.
nothing compared to Triple H transformation over 4 months. Nothing. You'd be like, there's something going on here. There's something going on here. Like this man might grow 3 eyes, given what he's doing to himself. There's no other like option. And gotta keep in mind, this is a guy that, like we find out later about this. This is a guy that was a bodybuilder since he was a teenager. There's no way that he is not like one of those.
It finally kicked in.
Yeah, it's not like one of those situations where like when it comes to like kids that play football or like me, for example, right? Like I was 6'4", 260, like, and I was skinny fat, whatever else, right? Like, and I did not know how much protein you're supposed to take and none of that, right? Like that, and I'd never taken creatine until 2 years ago, less than 2 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
I walk around in 270s, 280s now because like I figured it out. I'm not someone that I'll be one of the kids that like they go to a weight room, get on a weight program, and they blow up and put on 30 pounds over summer. That Triple H wasn't one of those guys. Triple H always had that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and so like I think it's very important to note the timeline as well. Look how long we've been talking before it seems like Triple H is scratching the surface at all, being at the top because
of the Monday Night War. Keep in mind, Nitro started in '96 that we're talking about right now. We're in the middle of '99, and we're not talking about being put into the main event scene.
In the Attitude Era, which I think dies a death at WrestleMania 13, or excuse me, the New Generation dies at WrestleMania 13, and the Attitude Era is born between Austin and Brett, essentially, and then that's like at least the prequel of it, right? Now Hunter, by this time, it's 1999. This is 2 years later, and time moves so fast back then. Like it could be radically different. Like nowadays, you can see 2 years like nothing changes or whatever. Like, but now
it feels that way sometimes. Yeah.
But back then, the difference between 1997 WWE and 1999 is like
Totally different.
totally different. Now, he cuts the "I am the game" promo and all
Yep.
that. Wears the hat backwards. He's looking like Shane Douglas. Some people
The
point
the
out.
leather king, the backwards leather Kango, yeah.
Yep. And then, like, by the time SummerSlam 99 comes, they want Stone Cold Steve Austin to put him over. And then Stone Cold Steve Austin is like, I'm not putting that mid-carder over. Like,
And then they're probably backstage, but look at him. But look at him now. He looks like a main eventer now. He has a better body than you now, Steve.
yeah, it is like Austin that by this time is like he's about to go basically get his surgery or whatever, and they got Rock doing bullshit this whole time. Right now in '99, he's feuding with Billy Gunn and shit. It's like
Yep.
colossal failure booking on the Rock side. Rock's turned babyface by this time, so at that point, Vince McMahon and Austin was winding down like as a feud primarily. So it was like, all right, who's going to be the top bad guy? And then you start linking Triple H with Stephanie there on screen. And then Triple H has to beat Mick Foley in a 3-way and then pin him the next night to solidify himself. So no one really buys that he's a champion, even though it's like, oh, wow, this guy finally fucking broke through. Like, just years after everyone else. Fucking Mankind won the belt already. Undertaker, Kane, Austin, Rock. These are all niggas that were in front of him that were way bigger stars than him. But by the time he gets there, it's like he's the last guy to kind of arrive at that
When was
level.
Vince champion?
Right after that.
Okay, right after. Okay.
So, like, they're doing a bunch of shenanigans because they don't really trust him yet, so they have to shuffle it around, including making Vince McMahon the champion, and Triple H wins it back, so they try to spam a couple title reigns on him, but it doesn't really take until 2000, like when, he starts getting into, feuding with Foley again and basically ending Foley's career and shit like that. Has that awesome match at the Royal Rumble, beats Big Show January 3rd, 2000. And then at this point, Triple H is a top guy or whatever.
And he's legitimately there by that point in time. Before it was like, this is the thing when people talk about like, you gotta, when we talk about building stars, like they were building him up that whole time. And like, it takes some time for it to finally take. By 2000, it was like, yeah, I may hate him, but he's also really, by that point in time, by WWE standards, he was really good. And he was perfect. He was a great foil for Rock and Austin at that point in time.
And he's slightly younger than a lot of these folks too. Like Foley's body's destroyed. Yep. Austin has the neck. Rock is still there as a contemporary, but mind you, Rock's like a year away from starting to make movies. Undertaker's older by that time. Yep. Had always talked about retiring. Kane's like a gimmick wrestler. So like when you look at
it's funny that you mentioned that. It's true. Undertaker talking about retiring back then is like he had making it go another literally another 20 years.
Yeah, and then you look around at that roster before Kurt Angle really gets rolling, before Jericho and all them come in.
99 or 2000.
He gets there at the very end of 99.
Okay, yeah.
Nobody else is around, kind of, but Triple H and Rock to really keep the shit going, and they keep the shit going.
It would have been Owen.
Well, yeah, yeah. I don't know if they would ever push Owen at that level again.
You're right, but they would have had an option of it, but they didn't have the option because he fucking died under their negligence.
Yeah, I don't think Austin would ever work with Owen either. But
yeah, after he broke his neck, yes, yes.
I think that in 2000 they get it rolling, but it's an ensemble cast by that point. You got the Radicals coming in, you got Benoit, you got Guerrero, Jericho. All like Perry Saturn, this fresh injection to the mid card, because you look at that mid card that's under all them, and it was fucking shaky after a while.
It's Billy Gunn.
They tried to make Billy Gunn
I'm
work.
Not 200
it did not work.
I'm not 200 worker in the world at that point in time, like Dave Meltzer said. I don't give a fuck what y'all were arguing about. Like, yes, I like Mr. Ass. I like the famous as a finisher move, whatever else. In fact, Billy Gunn was one of my favorite wrestlers ever played with in a video game. It don't matter. What was on screen was on screen. And on screen, he was not elite at all. That's not a pun.
So Triple H, Reign of Terror 2000. Seems like he's got a death grip on the championship. sends James off into a decade of exile as a wrestling fan, just because he keeps fucking winning. And they finally let Rock win, not at WrestleMania.
The pay-per-view after WrestleMania. Suck my dick.
So, from there, it's like, all right, Triple H is looking around, and there's people that want to come up. He's trying to hold off Chris Jericho, all that heat with him or whatever. And, Jericho comes into WWE. He's fucking hotter than the sun, knocks it out the park, at the beginning. He's instantly a threat. So, like, really from this point forward, it's the Triple H is like, a top star going forward. Eventually he has a few with Austin and like kind of gets the better of him, in early 2001. All throughout 2000, he's, some people say he was a wrestler of the year that year. Has a bunch of different matches with Rock and different stuff in 2000, and Kurt Angle, there was a feud with him, but he didn't really want to really commit to it because Triple H has such an ego. He could not fathom the Triple H character, like losing Stephanie McMahon to Kurt Angle. Like he would not sell it whatsoever.
Can you put Devlin on the screen? Now, Rich alluded to this.
Absolutely true.
Rich alluded to this. This is the reason why I walked away from pro wrestling for a decade. Like when Triple H won the WrestleMania main event, when he beat Foley and Rock in that Fatal 4-Way elimination thing, I was like, I'm done. Fuck this. This is stupid. This is dumb. What, a heel in WrestleMania? What is this? I'm done. And they come back into WrestleMania 20 until I heard word of mouth about WrestleMania 25.
So
and Undertaker and Shawn match.
So what happens is Triple H, by this time, they get to the biggest WrestleMania ever at this point. WrestleMania 2001, WrestleMania 17. And what is the main event?
Not him.
Not him. It's Stone Cold versus The Rock. And then the semi-main event is Triple H and The Undertaker in a match where I would have, if I gave you $1 right now and told you, tell me what, that shit was about. What was they fighting over? One of y'all would be scrambling. Y'all had to be watching footage trying to figure that shit out. Like
I forgot what it was about.
Exactly. Like, and then it's just like these two big stars. There's nothing to do with them. Just put them together or whatever. But you look at that whole show, like Triple H got a WrestleMania main event in 2000 or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you go forward. He gets to that 2001. He comes out of there, and the thing is, he's supposed to kind of turn babyface or whatever, but it don't quite work like that because Austin is also a heel now. So it's like, all right, he should have been turned babyface to fight with Austin since he beat Austin.
But nobody wants to pay to see Triple H win as a conquering hero.
So what did they do? They make the 2-man power trip or whatever, so we could be top heels together or whatever. Now it's like you don't get these wins back, Steve. You don't get these wins back, Steve. So. And The Rock is gone at this point because he's out filming the first
Scorpion
movie.
King?
I believe so. And now Triple H tears his fucking quad. And then he misses the entire invasion. So imagine what Triple H would have loved to do to them WCW niggas off the rip. I
feel like he made up for lost time.
Yeah. So he misses 2001, and then that's the end of the Attitude Era. You guys have the rest in the Ruthless Aggression Era, right? Now, as we review that, right, does that sound like somebody that was the top star as these WWE documentaries have basically, airbrushed this history?
A guy that got one main event. Meanwhile, Steve Austin got multiple main events, and so did The Rock. And when it came down to like stuff like SummerSlam or whatever else, you also had Undertaker with more of their big four pay-per-view, main events and stuff. Like, yeah, nah, man, it's ridiculous.
What they've done. He was a guy. He worked at the top. He wrestled a lot of the people that were the top people.
He's a main eventer. He's a main eventer. You could argue he's even a top guy. I'm not arguing he's not, but he wasn't an ace. They had 2 aces in the company. He wasn't even close to either one of them.
Correct. No matter how much he had the championship at a certain point, the ace was The Rock by that time because Austin was in and out with the neck. And when Austin came back, it was Austin again. So now
it's one of the rare instances where a promotion had 2 aces at the same time. And Triple H was neither one of them.
And then by the time
Hell,
he
you make an argument there were three of them in Vince. That still ain't Triple H.
correct. And then you think about 2002 going forward. By that time, Rock and Triple H are out of the picture, so Triple H finally gets what he wants. He's at the top, and what does that coincide with? Raw being as terrible as it's ever been in the history of anything. Him cosplaying Ric Flair, and then all of a sudden he's the old money guy. And then we know how much y'all like that reign. You don't.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I gotta say, I think there's been some deceptive, history writing here. But what do? When you own the history and you run the promotion now, this is what happens. I try to
Propaganda.
present this. Yes, I try to present this as fairly as possible or whatever, and accurate to the history. But brother, like I think, you know, I think people watch too many documentaries and they just weren't there.
Well,
Like,
Rich, just like we talk about, people, the documentaries or whatever else, it's like throwing on the morning sports talk show or looking at the box score. We watched the games.
we were there, man.
We were there for it. We were there. We watched the games.
Like he absolutely was responsible for having some really good death matches. He was linked with a lot of people that were important and all that.
He
But
looked
brother,
cool.
he looked cool. He was jacked at a certain point. Like when he wet the hair, it was like, oh, okay, this guy looks like a kind of a bad motherfucker now or whatever. Because like straight hair Triple H wasn't scaring a fucking soul. Like he was just a geek or whatever. Now,
But when he started spitting water everywhere and put on 35 pounds of muscle mass, like, oh, there's a difference. There's
right,
something going on now. But look, man, it's how do I say this? It's not to knock him. Like, look, he absolutely outkicked his coverage in life. He made the bet. He maximized his opportunities. But it wasn't like he was, it wasn't like he was Austin. It wasn't like he was Rock. And if Foley was in better health situation, whatever else, Foley got over in a way that like he means more to people that watch in that era than Triple H ever will.
yeah. Like if we call any of our homeboys and be like, "Hey, man, you remember wrestling, right? Who did you like back in the day?" They'd be like, "Oh man, I like Stone Cold. Hell, they might even talk about some WCW people. I like Goldberg. I
Oh
like
yeah,
the
they'll say
NWO,
Goldberg, they'll say Rey
Rey
Mysterio.
Mysterio."
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Fucking Booker
Sting.
T, like Sting, The Rock, shit like
Mhm.
that. If they mention
Foley,
Triple H,
Undertaker, but then they'll be like, remember Kane because of the whole soap opera storyline with the ridiculous dead brother thing or whatever else brought it back to life. Yeah, Triple H. Sean's homeboy. Yeah, he's cool. They'll
yeah,
just shrug it like that.
yeah.
Shrug shoulders.
The Nation of Domination in DX, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that when it was on the tank. Okay, yeah.
Yep.
Like that's it. Like that's not like top star. Like
He's in the essay. He's not the first paragraph.
yeah. So hopefully that sets the